All right, I'd like to give a little bit of a video tour of the 280 amp hour lithium iron polymer custom battery enclosure. So this is something that I've made on my own. This is my own kit, and it's something I sell on Etsy, and the people I've made it for seem to really enjoy it. But the one thing they've asked for is an instructional video on how to assemble it. So from the side, let's just point out the major components of the battery kit. So we have the top covers, and these top covers are held on with 8 Allen head screws. I don't have the screws in right now, so we're just going to take those off. I'll just put those to the side. And then once you take those covers off, so I'm going to rotate the battery, you'll be able to see the tops of the terminals. Now, something worth pointing out is you'll have room to do your bus bars, you have room to do your wiring, you still have access to the inspection ports for the vents, and then you also have spots to run zip ties down the center of the battery. If we look at it from the side, sorry, it's pretty heavy, you also have spots here where you can make custom bus bars to take one battery pack and then bolt it to another battery pack. And I can kind of talk a little bit about that in how I designed this battery enclosure. So on top of that, there are a couple main pieces. So but there's layers. So we have the 2 outer layers. We have the cover, which we just took off, which sits on there. And then we have the top cover, or this layer here, that holds the zip ties. We have this cover here, which is the cap for the cells. We have this bottom here, which is the base for the cells. And then the very bottom layer down here is the actual feet of the battery enclosure. If we look at the battery enclosure, we can see, well, almost, you can see that it's held in with threaded rods, and the threaded rods reinforce and then also compress the cells, so that they don't expand. And the threaded rods go through the entire length of the battery and give quite a bit of rigidity and strength and security to the battery enclosure. So let me just take this apart. You know, everything is held together with 1/4 inch threaded rods. So I'm just going to take these bolts off. There's one. And I'll probably just fast forward to this section so you guys don't have to wait for me here. So there's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. The bottom ones might be a little bit tighter to take off just because the weight of the cells is on top. But right now I can show you that. So there's the top tray, flat bottom. It sits on top of there. And that's what we have for the top cap. That kind of keeps, and that's really what's keeping the cells together. So we're just going to pop that off. Oh, I forgot to take care of that. So I'm just going to tap these rods out the bottom. It's easier if I show it to myself here. Just going to adjust the camera. Oh, a million times easier. There we go. So now, let me just adjust the camera again. So now everything is loose. So I'm going to take the side parts off. I just wanted to show the side part to you. So we have from this side, so from the outside, there's 2 holes here for bus bars to come out through the front of the battery. So you can do your wiring, depending on your configuration, you can join 2 cell packs together end to end. So if like this is a 12 volt configuration, if you wanted to do 24 volts or 48 volts, you just extend them lengthwise, or you can do side to side as well. So the thing I wanted to show here is there's the spots for the bus bars. There's this groove here that corresponds to that groove there, and that is what's actually kind of affixing everything together. And like I was saying, like this is just a cap, so we're just going to take that cap off, and it fits on there perfectly, keeps the cells nice and snug. So I'm just going to take that off. And then you have an example of what the cells are. So just like I said, again, 12 volt battery pack. Cells are right against each other. It fits perfectly. The cells are perfectly fine staying like this. In fact, they prefer to be packed in like that. And you can just simply lift these right out. So let me just take these out for just a second. I'm just going to put these on the floor. So yeah, there we go. There's the bottom tray. Looks very similar to the top of the battery cap. Has the same indents. If you look at the side cap, same indent is there. Helps lock everything in. 3D printed, it's very solid. And then last but not least is the base. So this is the part that faces inward, and this is the part that faces outward. So you do have space below the battery just for clearance, or if you want to run any of the wiring, you do have that center channel there for you. And oh, I should mention as well, there are indents in the bottom of the battery, so that if you wanted to stack the battery, let me grab the top here. Let's say we had 2 here. If you wanted to stack, those indents correspond to the holes in the top of the battery enclosure. So if this were the top of the battery enclosure, it would look something like that. And everything's set up so that you can stack them double high. And I would only recommend going double high just because it's a lot of weight in one place. But then the base will sit flush against the top of the bottom batteries. So I think that's really kind of an interesting thing to this battery enclosure. But yeah, so those are the main pieces of the battery kit. If you do order it from me, you're going to get it packed and taped together in a secure fashion. It's going to be bubble wrapped for secure, just so it doesn't get damaged in shipping. I'm just trying to give you a bit of a visualization of what the packing is going to look like, because once it's all disassembled, it does pack fairly tightly. Like that, and like that, and then your 2 covers. So that's what it breaks down to size-wise. And then as part of the kit, you'll also get the threaded rods, all the nuts and washers. Let me just grab those here. As well as the Allen head cap screws, which you can undo, like the fasteners, you can undo them by hand. Those will also come with the package as well. So yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, one thing I also wanted to mention is some people have asked, well, how do I mount this to my application? So some people put these inside their campers. Some people put these inside their like if they're building power walls, they want to be able to mount them to a wall or mount them to the ground. And you have some options. So when we look at the base, you'll see these holes, and they're on those 3 sides. And what there are I've made these little clamps and the little clamps will screw in to the side of the battery enclosure, and then you are able to drill, like that's a 1/4 inch hole. You're able to sink a bolt through there, and it'll stick out the bottom, and you'll be able to clamp this down. So that's one option. And then just keeping in mind, the other option is if you only have, so we have these holes again. If you want to be able to mount it from the ends, it's the same thing, same piece. We'll just go into that hole, and now you can mount it from the end. Now, a couple users have used these in their vans, and they were like, well, I would like to put the battery pack on its side, and that's, that's a great idea. So we have the holes on the side here. Again, this piece will go in there, and now you can mount your battery to the side, and then everything, all your wires are on all your electronics and cabling are on the side, and then now you have a lower yet wider profile battery pack. So that was just one of the extra things I wanted to point out. And I think that's it. Specifically for the handholds, lots of space for your hands. These battery packs do get fairly heavy, but you have an easy access to pick up the batteries. And then I guess maybe like the final thing to show you is from this angle, you're going to have the threaded rods. They're four threaded rods. And for the sake of this example, the threaded rods only go for the length of the battery pack. But if you wanted a more secure mounting setup, like let's say you had 2 battery packs that you wanted to gang together, what you do is the threaded rods, this is 1/4 inch threaded rod, this is a commodity piece. You can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's, anywhere that sells threaded rod, and you can buy this in 3 and 10 foot sections. So if you wanted to do a very long 12 volt, 24 volt, 48 volt pack, you can just tie them end to end to end, and then use one threaded rod to secure them together. And now you have what I've been calling a power curb, because now you have this brick that can go against the wall. It's securely mounted. You don't have to worry about your cells flapping around, getting kicked or damaged, and keeping them off the ground. And they're secured by a steel threaded rod. The other thing is this threaded rod will go in through the side. And when it's like that, then you can take 2 battery packs. Sorry, for the demo I only have 1 battery pack, but they will bolt together, and now you can do a 12 volt configuration in this style. So instead of it being like this, back to back, you can bolt them like this. You get the threaded rod to do that, and then yeah, so there's a lot of options and a lot of customization to this battery pack, and I'm always looking for feedback. I'm also looking to port this, so this design is for 280 amp hour cells. I'm looking for a supplier to do this with the 310 or the 320, depending on who you ask, amp hour cells, because those cells are a little bit bigger. But I would like to adjust my design to accommodate those cells as well. If you have any feedback or you have any advice on how I can improve this design, please contact me on whatever platform you're watching this, be it YouTube, Etsy. I'll put a link to my Etsy store in the video down below, in the description down below. Or you can go to my website. My website is protario.com, so Pro and then TARIO.com. And there's a contact page there, and I would love to hear from you on what you think of my battery pack. All right, thank you. That's it.